Hello and welcome to episode 6 of the Remedy of Poetry, the podcast in which we use poetry to journey inwards, to explore our inner world, to move energy through the body, to get into the stillness of the line breaks and the sounds and dance to the rhythm of our soul. Welcome to this beautiful spring episode. It has been a while, lots has happened, but I just felt compelled to, explore a little poem with you. Ireland is in full bloom already, and finally we have some warmer days. The afternoons and evenings get pretty cold still, but the sun is out. I won't complain. Let's dive right in. So, another poem from my book, Limitless Sharing the World or the World Through Love's Eyes. And it's called Your Soul's Garden. And as always, I start with a reading of the poem. And I invite you to close your eyes if you can, if you're not driving, and just take in the sound and the rhythm and the pace and the words without trying to make meaning. We do that afterwards. Okay. Your soul's garden. Here it is. Dig deep into the soil. Get your hands dirty. Pull out the roots that are no longer needed. Water your plants, the old and the new. As long as you flow, your garden will grow. Prune your branches just to let them sprout so that they can reach out to the sky. Enjoy the little helpers. Listen to the buzz and the birds. Cherish all the work they're doing as they run and fly. Finally, sit still. Enjoy the scents, the colors, the view. Relax into this blessed moment of being in your soul's garden, of being authentically you. Take a deep breath in and let it go. Now, if you want to dive deep, I invite you to now pause the video and just write down some words that are coming to you right now, or if there was a line that stood out to you the most, write that down and just dump on the page whatever's in your mind right now that can really help to free and to move more energy through the body. And then you can continue with this video, but you can also just continue. Now, let's dive deep, dig deep. It's the first two lines. Dig deep into the soil. And to me, that means on our soul's journey, it means to go back to our roots, you know? I feel like observing life, I feel that we kind of learn in spirals and we start by imitating. We start by picking up all kinds of things from other people. And then at some point we realize there's nothing left of us. And then we kind of unravel it again and dig over everything to just start anew. And if you are in a state where you just started something new, whatever it is, whether it's a job, whether it's a move or a relationship ending or beginning or something new, the most important thing is to be patient with yourself, because when we start something new, we start over. And I love this image of a garden, of digging over a garden and planting new seeds, because we would never sit in front of a flower. Yes, we may get impatient. Like I just recently um, planted some seeds for courgettes and they're sprouting. And I'm like, can I put you out? Can I put you out now? Can I put you out? But it's still too cold outside. So, and that is a nice metaphor as well, because when we start to explore some things in ourselves, let's say we pick up a new hobby or something, we found something, some seed that was there all along, maybe something that we enjoyed in our teenage years and that we kind of want to dive deeper into now, then we need to be patient with ourselves. And then sometimes this starts as a fragile plant and we want to give it time to grow and want to shelter it. And I feel like that is also very, very imagery, like a very good imagery. I feel that it is a good image for our soul's journey, because when we start to reconnect with our authentic self, it feels in the beginning like we're practicing something very tender. Our the essence of our soul to to bear that to the world is what I think we call vulnerability. So, to be that vulnerable, we need kind of a protective space to let it grow first. And oftentimes, when we start to, for example, say no, if we were someone who always said yes to people and we start to say no, in the beginning, we're kind of harsh with other people. We're like, no, right? Because we kind of have to convince ourselves as well to set that boundary, because it's hard in the beginning and we need to keep that boundary like firm. And that's the same with protecting plants, right? So it's like it's kind of the space that we are creating for ourselves. And I think that's very important. Get your hands dirty, pull out the roots that are no longer needed. I think is this doesn't need, sorry, I'm stumbling over my words here. This doesn't need an explanation anymore, because letting go of things we don't need, that can be decluttering, that can be old beliefs. And I love to have this image of gardening with our beliefs, like just like picking them up, like, do I like this plant actually? Does it serve me? Do I like to look at it or not? Then I just pull it out, and then just plant something new. Water your plants, the old and the new. Sure, we all need nourishing. Water is a very interesting and important thing, and I feel like we often forget that we are made of lots of water and that we kind of run on water. Um, and I have to remind myself all the time to drink enough, and it's really like I feel like my body really needs lots of water and good water. And I am very blessed to get my water from a spring, which is amazing. It's a beautiful ritual to just connect to the earth and to get the water from there. It's good quality, and I really feel the difference. And talking about plants, I made that experiment and I watered like a plant that almost died with that water, and suddenly it thrived. So don't underestimate the impact of water. Also, water stores energy. So if your water is stored in a place where it's kind of heavy energy or something, like it stores it. Like it is, and it is not. It's something that is scientifically proven. And I also love. There's this wonderful person on Instagram who kind of does records water in different forms in images. Um, Hard to explain, but it's beautiful. And I think you know what I mean. If you're on Instagram, might have come across it. So water can take all kinds of forms as well. And I feel that, yeah, water is really essential for our growth. Not only the water we drink, also being near the water whenever I'm stressed, just listening to water running or water at a lake or just the lapping waves on the shore. It's like, I mean, there's a reason that I think most people, I have never come across anyone who doesn't like to be at some kind of water. If it is not the ocean because there's sand, other people like lakes or rivers or whatever, but some kind of water. Everyone relaxes near the water. And I think that's because it's so close to our fabric that we are made of. Prune your branches just to let them sprout so that they can reach out to the sky. And that is for me the most precious. And it's funny, it is in the center, it's in the middle of my poem. And I didn't intend to do that, but I realized it has a meaning there because that's the core. That's our core growth in a way. And pruning our branches is such a brave act, such a brave act. And I give you an example. So, if you follow my Substack, you know that I am building my business since a few years now. And I have decided that I need more support in a way for myself as a container to to give to my subscribers, to give to my readers and to my audience, which means that I have taken on a job in a coffee cart, which is amazing because I get to be outside and I hear the birds and I can spread the love and I have the coffee smell around me all the time. It's so great. So taking on this job allows me to have a peace of mind to just, pay the bills. And at the same time, it frees my time to give more and to write more and to relax into the flow. Because when we are not relaxed, it's hard to create. If our body is in survival, we cannot create. So the first thing you want to do if you feel like you're stuck and you cannot create is to see how can you get your body out of survival and into relaxation. That's the first thing. And that's why I think everything has um, uh, uh, is valid to be there, whether it's just a bath or sauna or a sound bath or um, and a concert, whatever relaxes you, helps you to free that space to create. So when I decided that step, a part of me resisted that idea, where my nervous system, I could feel my whole body relaxing. I could feel my nervous system really settling down when I was feeling into having this job, into going there, doing my thing, and then being able to write more. I really felt my whole body relaxing. My mind, though, was not that still. My mind started swirling, and my mind started to say, hey, you failed. You failed your business. You failed being self employed. And told me all these things. And then another voice inside of me was like, no, no, this is growth. But it was hard at the beginning. And then a friend reached out to me, and I'm so grateful for that. Like when I was in Germany and I was still a teacher, my students gifted me an apple tree before they left school, so that I would think of them whenever I look at that apple tree. And when I moved to Ireland, I was searching for a place for this apple tree, and my friend happened to need a fruit tree in her garden. So she decided that she would become the foster mommy of my apple tree. So I'm very grateful that this was working. And we were very nervous in the beginning if it would settle, but it did. And then, just as I made this decision to give myself a little bit more peace of mind, I got the message from her with a picture of that apple tree really looking healthy and strong. And she said, last year my grandma came and pruned that tree so much that I was afraid that it would not grow anymore. And she said, I was so relieved when I saw it growing. And in that moment, I was like, that's it. That's it. It's pruning the branches. That's what I'm doing. It's just cutting down the unnecessary things, because what happens when we prune a tree, the tree doesn't put all the energy into the branches that are already like almost dead. It doesn't put the energy there anymore. It just remembers to get back to the core. And that's where the poem middle comes in. Pruning the branches brings us back to the core. So I invite you now to again pause the video and just journal a little bit. Where does your energy go where it kind of dissolves into nothingness? Like, where can you prune? Which branches can you prune to remember your core, to remember what you came here to do, to put focus on what you want in life, what you want to achieve, what you want to bring out in the world, the core of who you want to be as well. So I invite you to do that now. And then come back to this one here. Of course, afterwards you pruned, then you can reach out into the sky. So if you cut back on all the unnecessary, then you can really manifest the big things. Enjoy the little helpers. Listen to the buzz and the birds. Cherish all the work they're doing as they run and fly. Helpers is a very nice word. And I feel like oftentimes we don't see who is helping us. We are so often so trained to be very conditional, to want things to be a certain way, that we overlook all the help that we are getting, because all the people around us are helping us in a way. Even if we feel like people are blocking us, this is actually help. And when we look at our garden, we don't expect um, certain insects to do just certain things. I mean, they naturally do what they are doing, helping the ecosystem to thrive. So if in my mind, it's like if we are all our authentic self, we are automatically helping our world to thrive. So if we all just go to who we truly are, we don't need to make an effort to help others, and we don't need um, to be so conditional in our experience. Because if I know who I am, if I live my authentic self, then I can just show up as that. And then I don't need others to be different. Then I can let them be. Be. Sorry, that was the poet's wordplay. Let them be. I like that. Let them be. Okay, so just a little smile here. Finally, sit still. Enjoy the scents, the colors, the view. Relax into this blessed moment of being in your soul's garden, of being authentically you. How do we know when we are authentic? When we get still. When there's noise around us, like the amazing poet Jamie Millard says, have you been to yourself in all of this noise? I feel like when there's so much noise around us, when other people are around us with their expectations, we cannot really feel into ourselves. And I feel like the practice is to draw back. That's part of the soul's journey as well. We kind of have this phase where we hide in a way, where we like kind of turn into our cave. And then at some point we're strong enough to go outside and practice. And maybe we go back and hide again. So it's like a practice. And then more and more we are able to show up in the world as our authentic self, and we don't fall back that often anymore into old structures, into pleasing, into caring about what others think of us. Then we are more authentic. And I feel like sometimes even the like, I don't think the ego ever goes away. I don't think it even can, because it's there to protect us and it's important. So I don't think the word ego death is correct. It's more like an ego taming in a way. So the ego doesn't get to drive anymore, and that feels uncomfortable when the soul takes over and says, no, 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 it's my turn. Then that can feel really uncomfortable, and that's okay. And our ego might act out like a little child, when you have children and you say no to them, and children need to hear that every now and then, because parents are their protectors, right? So there are certain situations in which we cannot let the kid have what it wants, but we still can acknowledge that it's hard to accept, right? I find that very important, that um, if children act out because they cannot have what they want, that we acknowledge it's hard. Yeah. And we have that too as adults. How often do we throw a fit because we cannot have what we want right away? And I feel like compassion is so important in that one. So being compassionate with ourselves when things don't go our way is very, very important. And through stillness, we kind of learn to, first of all, know what we want, and then also to relax into life and to trust into the flow of life. Because some things, like most things, we cannot control. We can control what we plant, we can control how much we nourish our plant, but we cannot control the speed of the growth. We cannot control the weather. We cannot control the soil. And we cannot control the animals that come and nibble on that plant. But we can shelter the plant, and we can try to give the plant the best conditions in a way. And I feel like this is important for our children and for ourselves. So, yeah, I think that's it. Let's explore the questions. Now, in my book, I have a few questions for reflections, and you could use those to dive a little deeper. So, the first one is, what is your relationship with growth? This could be looking at, how do you feel you have grown? Do you feel you kind of stagnated in your growth, or do you feel like you're still growing? Where are you in your growth? Are you blooming? Are you growing? Are you growing roots? Oftentimes, the times where we grow roots is the hardest because it's not visible, because it's under the soil. So the part where we explore our inner world is hard to acknowledge that growth, or hard to even see that growth for ourselves. So again, there's stillness that we need for that. Then goes with it the question, how are you witnessing your own growth? So are you compassionate in it, or are you kind of impatient with yourself? Are you pushing yourself? Are you trying to give you all kinds of fertilizers even, Are you trying to make yourself better? Or are you able to step back and relax and let yourself grow? Then there's the question, which relationship do you want to have with growth? So that's another question that you could ask yourself. Which relationship do you want to have? And then you can see where you can grow in the relationship with growth, right? So yeah, these are the questions that you could journal on. Also, a nice writing exercise I want to leave you with, it could be that you pick a flower that calls you, any kind of flower that you feel connected to, and then just write about this flower. How does the flower smell? What does it feel like? Like the texture, the sensation. What does it look like? And try to find all kind of metaphors for it. Play with words. See that you use words that are not necessarily for the description of scent, or for the description of sight. So maybe you could even exchange them, and then just let it flow. You can use one of my poetry meditations for getting into the flow. I will link them here. And then you can just let it flow. and let the words grow. I'm very punny today. Funny today. Sorry. It's the giggly spring today, I think. So, yeah, you can really just play with the words. And then once you've written, read it again and see what this poem does for you. Make sure you always read it out loud. Poetry is here to be listened to read out loud. Maybe let someone else read it to you or record it and listen to it again. That's nice as well. Yeah, that's it. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. I need to feed the cat now. She's complaining. So, have a great day. Thank you for tuning in. And I see you in the next episode. Bye bye.